Kinstretchers. Welcome to the first of this week's classes. Last week was Christmas. Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas. I know we had a great time. I'm learning that Christmas as a parent is totally different than Christmas as a child. So I just want to give a shout out to my mom who made Christmas amazing and super special for us. I now realize how much work it must have been. And thanks to all of you parents out there who are making Christmas and the holidays wonderful for your kids as well. Last week we talked a little bit about continuing to push hard and still find challenges even in the midst of holidays with regard to Kinstretch. Today and in the next class, I'm going to back off a little bit for you guys. We're going to focus mostly on cars. I know the last class was pretty tough, or one of the classes last week was really tough. So we're just going to focus on moving and going through cars, bringing strict focus on technique, but also on tension. So trying to figure out how to generate tension as you go through your full body cars. So my objective today is to take you through two positions, all the cars in the body. One position will be a little bit more simple and not as intensely loaded, and then the second position will be a challenge position. I'll show you how to modify that if necessary, but it should be doable for you. So we're going to start in the standing position. I would have on hand 2 yoga blocks and your tennis balls. We're not really going to need too much for class today. So grab your tennis balls. And what we're going to do, which is going to be a little bit different, is work in reverse. So we're going to start with the feet, work our way all the way up to the neck, change positions, and then do the same thing. So let's begin in a standing position. Tennis balls are at your side, and we're going to start with the toes. Now, let's talk a little bit about creating tension here. So squeeze the ball at what feels for you like a 20% out of 100 effort, and drive your knuckles down to the floor to create some tension in the armpit. Lock out your elbows. All of this is at 20% effort. Drive your feet down into the floor, which should help you find your legs, tension maybe in your butt. And let's flex or kind of create rigidity at the stomach and the abdomen as well. So 20% tension throughout the body. And again, let's begin with the toes. So big toes stay down, little toes come up. And 2, 3, 4, 5, little toes down, big toe up. 1, there we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, and all toes up. Fan them down from outside to in. Now if you need to, you can always take a break here. You can kind of like bend down. Hopefully you can touch your toes in some way, shape, or form, and you can hold the ones that are not supposed to be moving as we practice this. Excellent. Next, let's go to the knees. We'll do one knee at a time here. I'll turn around because it's easiest to see from this position. So right toes are on the ground, 20% tension throughout the body. Turn the heel in, bend the knee. Heel out, extend, heel in, bend, out, extend, in, bend, out, extend. Reverse, heels out, bend, in, extend, out, bend, in, extend. One more, out, bend, in, extend. Other side, toes on the ground, 20% effort throughout the body. Heel in, bend, heel out, extend, heel in, bend, out, extend, in, bend, out, extend, and reverse, heel out, bend, in, extend, out, bend, in, extend, one more, out, bend, in, extend. Very good. Now the ankle, just try to lock your knee out, make your knee straight. Hold it out in front of you. Same thing, tension through the leg, through your glutes, belly, and in the tennis balls, 20%. Let's do 5 here in a clockwise motion. 4, 5, and now counterclockwise. 2, 3, 4, 5, and the other side. 1, clockwise first, or whatever. It's just to keep track of. And reverse. 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now for the hip, you can try this standing freely, or just put your hand on the wall, a door frame, or a piece of furniture. So I'm going to try to do it freestanding. So create tension throughout your body. Left foot over right. Lift the left knee. Open out to the side. Reach the foot back behind you. Internal rotation. Come down and around to meet the knee. Reverse. Drive back out to the side. Drop the foot under. And come back down and across. Number 2. Lift the knee. Open out to the side. Internal rotation. Now the knee will drop down towards the ground as you internally rotate. So it's very difficult to keep that knee high without moving somewhere else. So as you open here, when you internally rotate, this almost has to drop down for most folks, and that's okay. So keep an eye on that. Once you kind of pay mind to that, it'll prevent a lot of this stuff, like your spine and pelvis, from moving when you're just trying to move through the thigh. So right foot over left, lift the knee up, out to the side, internal rotation, let it drop down, meet the knee, reverse, and right foot over left, number 2, knee comes up, open, internal rotation, meet the knee, reverse, foot drops under, comes across, right foot over left, number 3, lift, open, internal rotation, meet the knee, reverse. Now as you reverse, reach that foot and knee back just a little bit, out to the side, foot drops under, and comes across. So that's toes, ankle, knees, hips. Let's go to the wrists. Elbows at 90 degrees, we'll do both wrists at the same time. Let's move knuckles down to the ground, out to the side, up to the ceiling, in towards the pinkies, down to the ground, out towards thumbs, knuckles to the ceiling, pinkies, one more. Remember, you want the forearm to be pointed up to the ceiling the whole time, so don't let that forearm turn over. And now reverse, into pinkies, up to ceiling, over to thumbs, down to floor. 2 more, and 2. Next to elbows, again, find 20% tension throughout the body. Palms are facing you, turn away, extend, turn up, flex, turn away, extend, turn up, flex, one more, turn away, extend, turn up, flex, keep palms facing you, and extend, turn palms down, flex, palms to you, extend, down, flex, one more, to you, extend, down, flex. Next, the shoulder, coming across the body. I like left hand on my lower back here, but you can really put it anywhere. Once you reach this overhead position, palm forward, palm out, that's internal rotation as you reach back behind you and come down, meeting the thigh. The back of your hand should be against your thigh here. Reach straight back. Once you get stuck, turn the ball in, down to the ground. Keep turning. That's external rotation as you come overhead, across the face and down. Let's go to the left side. Crossing the body. Bicep grazes the cheek. Palm forward, palm out. Reach back behind you. Meet the thigh. Reverse. Reach back. Once you get stuck, externally rotate. Overhead position. Come across the face and down to meet the thigh. Number 2 on the right. Across the body. Bicep grazes cheek. Overhead position, palm forward, palm out. Reach back behind you. And reverse. Number 2 on the left. Across the body. Bicep grazes cheek, overhead. Internal rotation. Reach back for the wall. Meet the thigh. Reverse, reach back. Once you get stuck here, start your external rotation, overhead and across. Now, if any of this hurts, just skip that range of motion. So if it hurts to bring your arm up here, then you can kind of come up to this position and just come across, all right? So sometimes that happens. You'll find a spot that doesn't feel so great. Just skip it. And if it still is bothering you, then reach out to us. Hopefully we can help you figure it out. Number 3, last one here. Across the midline, graze the cheek, drive your feet into the floor. Try to find that tension everywhere else in your body. It's not a lot, just 20%. And last one on the left. Dig feet into the ground, squeeze your butt, tense up your midsection. That ball that's behind you, squeeze that one too. And there you have it. Next, shoulder blades. Let's demo from the side, just to try to give an image here for you. Shoulders up, reach back, unshrug, reach forward, shrug, reach back, unshrug, reach forward, shrug, back, unshrug, forward, and now reverse. Back, shrug, forward, unshrug, back, shrug, forward, unshrug. One more. Shrug, forward, unshrug. Next, T-spine. This is where I like to trade, personally, the tennis balls for the yoga block. Place that block in the center of your chest and cross your arms over that block. It just gives you something to kind of hug and hold on to for when times are tough. Or you could also grab a pillow. If you have a medicine ball, you could use that as well. If you really want to take this up a notch, even a small kettlebell, you can kind of hug it close to your chest, and that'll really make things much more challenging. So when you're ready, drive your feet down into the ground, squeeze your butt, tense your midsection. Let's bring that block or elbows down towards the floor. Left shoulder rotates to the ground. Lean that right shoulder back. Right shoulder up to the ceiling. Right shoulder down to the ground. Elbows to the ground, reverse. Right shoulder to the floor. Left shoulder to back left pocket. Left shoulder to the ceiling. Left shoulder to the floor. Elbows to the floor. Number 2. Left shoulder to floor. Right shoulder to back right pocket. Right shoulder to ceiling. Right shoulder to floor. And elbows to floor. And reverse. Right shoulder to floor. Left shoulder to back left pocket. Left shoulder to ceiling. Chest down and around to center. Very good. Number 3. See if you can figure this out without any of the cues. Just drawing a big circle around the room with the center of your chest here. And there you have it. Let's go to the neck. If you want, you can still hug this as you do neck cars. It'll sort of help prevent T-spine from moving a little bit. So just give it a good hug, feet driving into the floor, everything else tenses up. Bring chin to chest, look to right armpit, right ear back, eyes up to the ceiling, over to the left, down to left armpit, chin to chest, reverse. Look to left armpit, left ear to back, left pocket, eyes up. Right ear to right back pocket, look to right armpit, down to center, number 2. Big circles being drawn with the nose here. 20% effort. And number 3. Last one. Just tracing a big circle on the wall in front of you. Very good. Now, let's go to a more challenging position. We're still going to go through all of the cards again, but in a position that brings a lot more tension and some other challenges. Now, I'll sort of mix this up between 2 positions depending on how things are going. We're going to use something called a beast plank, which is where your knees will be up off the ground, but will be in a pseudo quadruped position, and then we'll use full plank, which is what most of you are familiar with, straight legs, body up off the ground. I'd still like to work from the ankles up, so I just think it's good to change that sometimes. Now, if you need to, particularly as we get to hip cars from this position, it can be helpful to put your hands on blocks, which will elevate you slightly, but also make sure that your knee can clear the floor as we go through this. So have those nearby in case you want to use them. Now, to set this up, put your knees underneath your hips, or like in line with your hips, and then scoot them up so that they're under your belly button, so it'll be a little bit closer than quadruped. Your wrists should be underneath your shoulders, and then tuck your toes under. From here, what you want to do is lift your knees off the floor just high enough to slide a sheet of paper under. So I'll zoom in so you can see, but if you notice, when I do this, my knees just come up off the floor. Blink and you'll miss it. So knees lose contact with the ground, but they're only high enough to slide a sheet of paper under. Now, pick that right foot up off the ground, and let's go ankle cars. 2, 3, reverse. 1, 2, 3. Right foot down, left foot up. 1, 2, 3, reverse. 1, 2, 3, and set the knees down. So hopefully that makes sense. If we can maintain what's called beast plank, which is what we just did there, this is going to be a tough 15 minutes. So next, let's go to the knee. Same thing. Knees up off the ground. Take that right leg up off the ground and kind of kick it back a little bit. Heel to the inside, extend the knee slightly, heel outside, bend, heel inside, extend, out, bend, in, extend, out, bend, reverse, out, extend, heel in, bend, heel out, extend, in, bend, heel out, extend, in, bend, and knees down. Whoo! This is going to be tough. So just because we're not doing pails, rails, or end range strength training drills does not mean that the practice is necessarily easy. It just means that there's not a high amount of force involved. So, I kind of like this, you know, we'll do a set, take a break, do another set, take a break. It's just going to give you strong exposure to the position. Now, just real quick, if you need to, you can go on your knuckles, or it can help if you're having trouble with your wrists to hold the blocks like this. You know, you got a couple options here. If not, just keep your knees on the ground. No need to try to crush yourself here. So when you're ready, knees under your belly button, push the floor away, knees off the ground ever so slightly, and let's go to the left knee. Drive it back a little, heel inside, extend, heel outside, bend, in, extend, out, bend, heel in, extend, out, bend, reverse, heel out, extend, in, bend, out, extend, in, bend, out, extend, in, bend, and take a moment. Whew, that is pretty tough. Let's continue. Next will be hip cars. So we're going to move through the whole hip. What we'll do here is we'll go all in one direction and then all in the opposite direction. Sit down for a moment and then we'll go to the other side. So I'll start on the left just so you can see it on camera first. So when you're ready, knees up off the ground, left knee flexes, open to the side, foot to the ceiling, come down to meet the knee. Number 2, to the side, foot to the ceiling, back and around. Number 3, and reverse. Foot and knee drive back, come around. 2, 3, and a little break. Whew, tough stuff. And let's go to the right side. So same as before, knees up off the ground, press into the floor, right knee up, out to the side, foot to ceiling, back and around. 2, 3, reverse. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Whew. Now, the wrist can be tough from this position because we need to keep load on it, but we'll give it a shot. What we're going to do is you'll be in that quadruped position. Excuse me. You'll pick one hand up, make a fist, and then we'll do the wrist cars from that position. Trying to catch my breath here. Those hip cars were really tough. Oh, God. Alrighty. Now this is a little bit harder too. Make sure you're driving tension into your feet here, because when you remove this hand, it's going to be really challenging for a moment. So, when you're ready, same thing, knees under the belly button, push the floor away, try to get your head as far away from your feet as you can, and tuck your toes. Now lift, hopefully I can do it, lift the knees off the floor, shift a little bit of weight away from the left hand, allowing you to pick it up, and 3 clockwise, 3 counterclockwise, and other side. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Now for the elbows will be much more difficult, so I'm going to have you do this with your knees on the ground. This is a good place to take your yoga blocks to elevate the hands a little bit. Your palm will be down on the yoga blocks. Drop the elbows to the floor. Lean your body forward to bend the elbows. Come back out. Elbows off the floor. Flip so your palms are up. Drop the elbows down. Shift forward. Shift out. Come back up. Number 2, palms down. I guess you could do this with your knees off the ground if you're a crazy person. Maybe I'll try it on this last rep. So, if you want to try this with me, let's give it a shot. I've never done it before, so we'll see. What you're going to do is set up the same position, except this time knees come off the ground, elbows down to the floor, shift weight forward, shift weight back, elbows up. Now this will be really hard. I would set your knees down first before you do this one. You may not be able to do it too because it's intense wrist flexion, so I may not be able to do it either, but let's give it a shot. Knees up off the ground, drop elbows, shift weight forward, come back out, extend. Yeah, barely. That was pretty tough. So let's take a break just for a moment. Give you guys a little break on the wrists, a little break on the toes. Tucking the toes under like that and pressing into your wrists can be pretty challenging for most folks. If you can hear my labored breathing, obviously it's challenging for me too. So we've got a few left here. We have the shoulder blade, the spine, and the neck. So we'll keep doing what we've been doing, kind of breaking that into pieces, and we'll see how it goes. Whew. Just wait for the challenge position in the next class. Alrighty, when you're ready, back to this beast position. Knees are under your belly button, toes are tucked, hands are below and in line with your shoulder. Press the floor away to create tension. We're now going to the shoulder here. We're going to switch sides. We'll go right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay? So, knees up off the ground. Right arm across the midline. Bicep grazes cheek, overhead position, internal rotation. And come down and around, reverse. Across the midline and down. Left side, across the face, overhead, internal rotation, come down and around, reverse, and across. Whew. Set down for a moment. It's really tough. Now, I'm going to try on this one, but you want to try to minimize rotation here. So hopefully I'll be able to see it happening. You don't necessarily want to turn this way as you're moving your shoulder. You don't want to turn into that arm. So try to stay squared to the floor. That's going to be my objective for myself on this next rep. So rep number 2, knees up, arm across midline, overhead position, reach up to the wall and back, and reverse. Still pretty tough to control that there. Man, let's go to left side. Reverse. Very good. Now, if you add the tennis ball and some extra tension to that arm, sometimes that can also clean that up a little bit. So we'll see what happens there. Just keep the ball nearby, and then you can grab it when you take that hand away. So here we go. Number 3, last one here. Knees up off the ground. And arm across the midline, overhead position, internal rotation, reverse, left hand across midline, overhead, internal rotation, reverse, and a little break. When I imagined this, it wasn't as hard as it has been thus far, so do what you need to. Take a break to space this out. You know, this can be pretty high threshold with regards to strength, so it's important that you give yourself enough time to rest and recover. So next, let's go to shoulder blade. Now I'm going to do this on fists. This is a way of just giving the wrists a little break here. If you can get on your knuckles like that, totally worth trying. Same position as before, knees under belly button, toes tucked, and here we go. Press into the ground, knees up off the floor. Let's let the body drop to the floor, shrug, push away from the floor, unshrug, drop, shrug, push, unshrug, drop, shrug, push, unshrug, and relax. A couple deep breaths, and then we're going to go opposite direction here. Alright, so let's see. So unshrugged, drop to the floor, shrug, push, unshrug, drop, shrug, push, unshrug, drop, shrug, push. Almost there. Next will be spinal segmentation cars. A little bit different than what we did in the standing full body position. And here we go. So knees up off the ground. Round everything in the spine, tuck your chin, and then begin unrounding at the tailbone. Try to stick the tailbone out, belly button headed towards the floor, ribs pull apart from the hips, head comes up and away. Woo! Set down for a moment. This is going to be really tough. I can feel that. And next, knees up and begin scooping tailbone up from the floor, belly button up from the floor, ribs to the hips, chin to chest, reverse, start arching, and reverse, start flexing, and a little break. Sorry, I would cue that more if I could, but the tension is quite high here. So we'll get one more rep and then we'll go to the neck. Whew. This is good. It's good for students to see their instructor struggling. All right, last one here. Take your quadruped beast setup. Knees up off the ground. Starting in flexion, round everything in the spine. Begin unrounding at the tailbone, belly button to the floor, ribs up and away from the hips, head up and away, and reverse. Tailbone tucks, belly button tucks, ribs and head tuck, and relax. And finally, let's go to the neck. I'm actually gonna, I think, come up on the blocks for this, just to make it a little bit easier. Knees up off the floor. Chin to chest. Look to right armpit, right ear back. Eyes up and ahead, over to left. Down, chin to chest. Reverse. And set down. And knees up. And chin to chest. Right armpit, right ear back. Eyes up. Over to left. Down to left armpit. To center. Reverse. Knees down. 1 rep to go. I think I've changed my mind about the next class and what we'll be doing. So that'll be fun. All right, knees up. Last one here. Chin to chest. Look to right armpit, right ear back. Eyes up and forward. Over to left. Down, chin to chest. Reverse. And down. Whew. All righty. So, like I said, a shorter class, a little bit of a break from end range work, end range strength training, mostly just practicing cars. One position, standing position, kind of an easier setup, easier position. And then what we call the beast plank, which is that quadruped position with knees ever so slightly off the ground. Much more challenging position. Perhaps more than I imagined it, so hopefully you were able to break that up into chunks, maybe pause the video where you needed to in order to rest a little bit longer. What I like about these types of sessions is that it can teach you how difficult the practice of cars alone can really become. So we'll explore that a little bit in the next class, another challenge position, and just showing kind of how much training and stimulus you can bring by just moving and doing controlled articular rotations. So if you made it this far, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next class.